Let's bring in Republican Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi. He sits on the Senate Armed Services and Rules Committee. Welcome, Senator. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, I do appreciate you coming on because we were hearing earlier today that reporters were jumping at you, and you said, I'll make a comment later. You've chosen us to make that comment. We appreciate
so here
it.
I am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for choosing Countdown. But more importantly, let me get your reaction to Comey's firing. Back in October, you were saying that the director should be removed from office anyway.
You know, I think he's been controversial over time. Whoever was pointing out just a few moments ago on the air, this has come from Democrats and Republicans. He's sort of been theatrical. I think he's taken positions that were not within the purview of the FBI director, more appropriate for the Attorney General. And I think the timing came because the new Deputy Attorney General had just been able to take office and get the memo done. But I think there were many reasons why really people on both sides of the aisle had doubts about the temperament of Jim Comey for this position.
Well, I get that, and we've heard it from both sides, but here's what's raising more than a few eyebrows, including those of Republicans. The president had showered praise on Director Comey a few months back for having, quote, the guts to reopen the investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of the private email server. And now, just as Comey and the FBI were ramping up the investigation into a potential Russian contact with members of the Trump campaign, he's fired. The timing is upsetting even people like Republican Ben Sassa and Jeff Flake. So what do you say to that?
I think the important thing is for the investigation to go forward. I think we need a Neil Gorsuch-type individual for the president to bring forward as the new FBI director, somebody of sterling character, impeccable credentials and experience. And I think once that person gets in place and the investigation goes forward as it should go, I think this hysteria and this tornado, as you mentioned, will calm down. We'll move on to other substantive issues.
Would you give continued support to acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe if he wants to continue what's already been started as far as this investigation is concerned?
Well, I would hope that the acting director would continue with the investigation, but I think this is up to the president. And again, I would call for him to appoint someone with bipartisan support, someone who's beyond reproach.
Is that not McCabe?
And I do not know him, so I couldn't comment. But I think it's important that this person be someone that's determined to go forward, and somebody that Republicans and Democrats and independents and the American people and the press have confidence in. Once that happens, I think we'll be all right.
Senator Wicker, you mentioned that you felt that James Comey didn't have the right temperament. He's worked for both Democrats and Republicans, and up until the situation that he found himself in, I think a lot of people would agree he didn't handle it properly. But now you have former Trump supporter Ray Dalio, who is a billionaire hedge fund guy. He runs the world's largest fund. It's called Bridgewater. He was a Donald Trump supporter. He's tweeted. This guy never tweets. And he put out a tweet, and he specifically mentioned, he wrote in it that he really stuck up for James Comey. He supported him and said he was a man of integrity. And now you're starting to hear more timber, a higher sort of decibel level about people sticking up for him.
Well, everyone's entitled to his own opinion, and so I respect that. I haven't read the tweet, but I would only say I think there have been numerous occasions over time, including last July, including last October, when the director of the FBI should not have called a press conference, should not have jumped out in front of an issue as he did, and instead let the Attorney General take care of issues within her purview.
Senator, thank you for coming on with us. And we'd like to invite you again because this is appearing to take some time. We'll see how quickly they get a new name floated to replace him.
Okay, maybe we'll talk about making health care better at a future interview, too. I'd like to do that.
Okay.